Yeah? All right. Hi. Anyway, today we're going to talk more about the knee cut pass, but we're also going to sort of touch base on one of my favorite ways to screw up my opponent's positioning when I'm on top and half guard, right? We talked last week, so just to kind of refresh everything, are two central concepts of immobilizing our opponent and allowing us to pass. Number one is controlling the center line, meaning that if I have John in half guard, it's the control of this center line that is going to keep him from being able to make offense and keep me in control in terms of just a purely pinning sense, meaning that if I can lock him down on my center line, it's going to be very hard for him to make much of anything happen, right? Everything he needs to make happen, so let's just say he was able to pummel this underhook and come up. Even if he has everything, if he's still in front of me, this doesn't mean a lot. What gives him the opportunity to attack is drifting off to the outside of the center line, right? Without even necessarily going that far, just getting your head to the, backward. Right, now he's off my center line. Now for me to attack him, I got to start compromising my position. And that's where his sweeps and his attacks are going to come from. So we talked about pinning our opponent on the center line. That's what gets us able to immobilize our opponent to start with. The next thing that we touched base on last week was head displacement. Another way of phrasing that would be disrupting their alignment. Okay, the spine works really well when it is a straight line. Okay. Once you start curving it up, you start getting a lot of problems. And the load-bearing aspects, the ability to bridge, the ability to create explosive movements in general, starts being compromised pretty dramatically. If you think about it, it's like, why would scoliosis be a problem if this wasn't the case, right? So, let me get you again. So we talked last week about disrupting their alignment via putting our head underneath of their chin, right? So I'm here, and I get my head under his jaw. And this has a dual effect. One is it extends his neck outward and kind of fills this pocket. So if he tries to do like a sit-up, it's very hard for him to close this gap. And two is it pins the back of his head to the floor. So once I get here, let's just say I'm hunkering down. If he tries to do a bridge, it's very hard for him to create space and do anything dramatic, which allows me the ability to start maneuvering my body around to pass, okay? Today we're going to talk about a different manner. So there's really three primary ways we're going to disrupt their alignment in this semester. So we're now getting to number two. Number two! How long would I have to hold that up before that became bizarre? Apparently that one. So what I'm going to do here is, let me get you just flat on your back. Can you see kind of John's relative angle with the mat pretty good? Yeah?
Yes.
Right now, his spine's kind of a straight line. The way I'm going to disrupt his alignment is by taking this corner of his head and bringing it to his shoulder, this way, creating a curvature here, right? If John is here, and just kind of very lightly do a bridge, if you watch, right? He's doing a nice bridge, cool, go back. Do a bridge, please. Go ahead. It's not gonna work, right? Once I curve that spine over this way, you screw up his ability to mobilize. So, we're gonna take advantage of that. We start out in our situation. I have the underhook. I have the collar. Maybe I'm trying to find my head under his chin. He's keeping his head in nice and tight, right? Maybe he's keeping his hand kind of in the way, so I'm trying to shift back, and I'm not really having success here. Okay, that's fine. This next position is better than the last one. Here, I'll rotate a little bit this way, guys. Meaning that I would rather have this owl perch thing that we're moving toward than have the head in the chin. Head in the chin is awesome. I think I touched on this last week. A little bit less positionally secure, right? So he's keeping his head tucked in tight, but I have him flattened out. What I'm going to do is work my head to the other side and pin my forehead to the floor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Guys? Yeah? So my forehead's going to be on the floor, and it's going to be next to him. This is already a very good position to end up in. Once I have this, my pass is pretty good. In fact, for years, I did just this, just putting my head to the floor. And at this point, if John tries to bridge into me, it's really difficult for him to create big dramatic movement. Really, the dramatic movements he's going to create are going to come as I'm passing, which is where the head displacement becomes more critical. At this point, by pinning him, if I just hold here and I can get this overhook, and I'm going to make one positional adjustment in a second for the guard pass, but as long as I just get here and here, I might be able to just hold him here for 5 minutes. But we want to pass, right? We want to make some offense happen. So I put my head to the floor, and I'm just going to move his head out of the way, right? That's it. My head was here, now it's here. So now if John tries to do a big bridge, no, it's not going to happen. I can pull back on this collar grip and drag my shoulder in to put some pressure. That's going to matter more for the pass in a second, right? So it's pretty straightforward, right? Head on the floor, move his head out of the way. We're disrupting his alignment. We're now going to work toward the guard pass. And this guard pass, which is called the owl perch pass, works on a very basic premise, which is that if I'm here and I'm centered, right, let's forget all the things we know, and my weight is centered right on top of my opponent. If John just hugs around my back and does a big bridge to his left, he can take me over pretty easy, right? So we go back. And honestly, my guess is, and John, how much do you weigh?
150.
150, yeah, right. My guess is John could probably, if I sat on top of him, roll me over, we just demonstrated. Any of you guys, he could probably do that too. In fact, if I sat on top of John, and then Jimmy climbed on top of my back, and then one of you guys climbed on top of his back, he could probably roll all three of us, once we're all centered on top of his body. Yeah? Okay. But if I were to just, again, same conditions, except I'm going to be here. I want you to roll me to your left, please.
No.
Not going to happen. Go ahead and try it. Won't happen, right? Why?
Body weight's too...
Right. Body weight's too much on one side for him to move me all the way over that way. It's the same principle of, looking at it here for just a second. Please hang tight. There was that movie, I think it was Into the Wild or whatever. It was like a true story. This guy was like mountain climbing, and then he like went into a cave, and there was like an earthquake or something, and a boulder fell, and it fell on his wrist. Right? And once the boulder's on his wrist, like if it had fallen on his chest, assuming it didn't just completely cave in his lungs and kill him right away, he actually probably would have been able to get out, right? Because he could have bridged, gotten that thing off of him. But because the boulder was pinning his arm to the floor, he had no leverage. He couldn't get underneath of it. We're going to use that same principle to pass the guard here. So I'm in the half guard, I have the underhook. My head's gonna, I'm just gonna keep my head up while I'm talking for a second, and then I'll demonstrate with everything correct in a moment. I want to wrap around, so I'm making a flipper. My flipper is gonna catch behind the elbow, and I want to take his elbow away from his arm. So I want to kind of create a straight line between his shoulder and his elbow. That positioning, I want to put my chest on top of it, and then I want to clamp my elbow to his wrist. So you guys see, I am all the way to the right. For me, it's the left, but for him, I'm all the way on his right side. John, am I actually heavy at all right now?
Not really.
No, but like move me around.
You're heavy on my arm, basically.
Right. Now, let's add in the head position. I'm here. Move his head out of the way. At this point, do anything. Thank you. It's like anything he would try to do is going to involve either shrimping, which won't work, bridging, which we've beaten with the head positioning, or pushing my face away, which we've beaten by gluing our head to the floor, right? So again, I'm here, head to the mat, move his head out of the way, shift off. You guys see how I just sort of shifted off to my left, and then I clamp this arm tight. If he tries to push my face away, it's like I'm kind of too close to his face. Like say you take your left hand and try to smush my face away. You know, it's kind of like I'm like too close for you to get strength from there. Yeah. If I wasn't doing this, do that now. You see what I'm saying, guys? So it's like just these tiny nuances, just moving his head right out, just out of the way. Gets me too close. If you try to bridge, it's not going to create enough momentum to make anything happen. From here, guys, same guard pass we drilled. Inside leg straightens, turn my hips, stomp through, and then the only thing that I want to note here is that there's a bit of a susceptibility at this moment exactly where he's going to try to, like, I'm going to pass, and John, I want you to roll me to your left. So I go back, I'm here, I pass, and he rolls me right. There's a bit of a susceptibility there. So when I follow up, I want you to do that same thing, and I'll demonstrate. My left knee is going to find the top of his head basically right away. Don't hit your partner in the head, obviously, but that's what you're, sort of where you're going. So we go back, here, off to the left, I start passing, and I take this corner and get my head control. Let's turn the other direction so you can see that a little better. So I'm here, underhook, head position, move head out of the way, shift off to the left, right, ready? Keep going. My knee comes up high. This is also, like that situation, man, I have found that the best guys I roll with, if I can get them that far, that deep into the scenario, they'll concede the half guard with the intention of doing that. Like I guess when I roll with, like really good black belts, if I get them that far, there's really not much else they can do, so they're going to concede the guard pass and try to roll it. So you gotta just be ready to slide that knee up towards the head. So, does that make sense, guys? Cool. Do you want to see all that?
Yeah, we'll probably watch.
Yeah, Jimmy, can I grab you? We'll get you your head facing the camera. So again, I'm here, have my underhook. I'm finding my head to the floor, and then moving his head off the center line. You see that? Just here. Take his elbow away, and then drift my weight to the left so that he can't, that I'm on top of his arm. So if Jimmy tries to move around, it's like any sort of big movement he's going to make is going to give me my pass. I'll do it without, let's just say you just decide to hunker down then. So I have you flattened, I'm here, I'm sprawled, weight on the knee, straighten the leg, turn my hips, cut through, and then as I'm cutting through, he might try to roll me backward. So go ahead and try to roll me backward. As he goes, my knee slides up. I've just kind of gotten to the point where I just do this automatically now. This knee just comes right up like that. Does that make sense? Excellent. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and park up where we got. 1, 2, 3.